Welcome back to another episode of Local Search Tuesdays. This week, we've got more awesome stuff from SMX West for you. Like I do at every conference, I gathered all the speakers together and asked them to give us one quick tip on digital marketing, and we got some really killer stuff this time. Check it out.
Considering the core updates that are happening and consider all the hoopla about them, one of the things I recommend that you do is, and we all know you shouldn't go after that high search volume keyword because that's just ridiculous unless it relates to what you're actually doing. But sometimes we sort of get hung up on these keywords or these topics that, yeah, they kind of relate to what we're doing. Yeah, they kind of don't relate to what we're doing. They're sort of on the periphery or the border of what we do. So I very much recommend don't go after that because that'll take away juice from your overall identity, and Google's trying to profile your site and understand who you are, and when you go after that sort of like, yeah, it kind of relates, kind of doesn't, topic or keyword, that could dilute your overall identity, so it's just not worth it long term.
All right, so for SEO, I think it's really important to have like a fundamental knowledge of the best practices, but I think it's more important to challenge those best practices and always test new things and ideas and kind of go one step further to look for the new ideas and ways to optimize your site.
So my SEO tip for 2020 is to focus on the visuals, specifically on video. If you go and take a look at your targeted queries, I can assure you if you take a look at the search features and the blended type of results, there will be a share of them that will be showing already videos, and not only for informational type of queries, also those that are mid of the funnel of comparison, product type of keywords. So I will say that there will be really good chances that if you start investing a little bit on video content, you will be able not only to get additional visibility in search results that are important already for you from a transactional perspective, but also allow to reuse that content to improve the conversion of your landing pages or category pages or product pages, because this video can also be repurposed to help you sell more to your users.
Okay, so my tip is, and John Mueller said it, and it's literally be consistent. Be consistent in all of your messaging, be consistent in any brand mention that you have. Think about co-reference resolution and watch for any inconsistencies everywhere, and be consistent in things like redirect chains and the decisions you make about where you're redirecting things to and your out of stock policies, and just be consistent. Don't make it hard for search engines to work things out.
Right, here's a marketing tip for this year, next year, and every year to come. Rich site links on your brand search. When somebody searches your brand name, they expect today to see the rich site links underneath your homepage. There are really great advantages to having it. Number one is that it takes up a big chunk of your brand search that you control with content that you own. But more than that, it gives your users an easier way to navigate to specific areas of your site, which is why Google puts them there. It puts them there so that when somebody's searching for your brand, doesn't need to go through the homepage to get to the pricing page, the About Us page, the contact page. And in my data, I've got a data set of 10,000 brands. Only 50% of brands have got rich site links. They're easy to get, they're worthwhile, they help your users, and they help you control your brand search, which is phenomenally important. Get your rich site links today.
We have to remember the main reason why people go to YouTube. It's to watch video. That's pretty much the main thing you could do on that channel. So it's okay to embrace longer video content. If you have videos that are 10, 16, 20 minutes long, test them out as a TrueView discovery. It's the only ad format that allows us to target the search results page on YouTube. So give that one a shot.
Yeah, if you want to learn more about SEO, branch beyond SEO, Search Engine Journal, Search Engine Land, explore medium.com. There's a lot of good dev information that's really applicable to SEO that you might not find anywhere else.
My tip for you today is to use your Google API, Google Search Console, with Screaming Frog in conjunction, so that you can do a really true content audit for yourself, because it will scan sessions, and then you can understand how that content is being looked at and used by your users.
So I'm going to just go ahead and give 2 tips, not 4. You're seeing double. 2 tips today. So first one is that, okay, suggesting an edit is actually, believe it or not, the only way you can effectively teach Google at this point about name spam. You can't use the redressal form anymore on this. They've announced that, I think it was like, what, about a month ago? They even updated their form to show this. So suggesting an edit is the only way to go about name spam. There is still a penalty, by the way, for name spam. So there's reasons why you shouldn't do it. I know suggesting an edit is not extremely effective, but why you shouldn't do it is because if Google ends up going ahead and doing things called sweeps, which they do on a fairly regular basis, you get caught up in that. And you don't want to get caught up in a sweep. We have one going on right now, which is kind of looks like more of like an account level sweep. So, and that's taking down hundreds of people's listings at a time. So don't name spam, but use suggesting that it is actually effective at some level. Next thing I want to give out is just something about reinstatements. So when you get suspended, most people, what their knee-jerk reaction is to go ahead and submit the reinstatement form. And they usually will submit with no data, no documentation, no backup for why they need to be reinstated. They feel like they've been shut down and suspended for no reason whatsoever. Take a breath, take a chill pill, get some advice, whether it be from a friend, come to the community and just ask people and say, hey, would you mind just taking a look at, screenshot my info tab, take a look at my address, etc. Get some feedback before you do your reinstatement. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck in a reinstatement loop. And like if you were to do one right now today, you would find out that you're actually going to be in part of a backlog because there's a lot of reinstatements happening right now, suspensions. So if you were to submit today and you submitted without the right information, you would have to wait maybe 1 to 2 weeks before you got your denial. And then when you get your denial, you still don't know what you've done wrong. So do your homework, check it out, make sure, get some advice, then do your submission. And then you'll be up a couple days.
Greg cornered me to talk to you about a random tip or trick. And I think that what I'm going to talk to you about is making sure that you look at your performance metrics, and particularly things like JavaScript performance on the site and like time to load various assets when compared against your page data, like for instance, your traffic analytics, right? Like a lot of people think all the time, oh, hey, we got to get better performance on our site, but they don't really look and see what the improvement in page speed leads to in terms of traffic. And so if you're dealing with like local or any kind of like larger business, right? Something like that is going to have an impact on potentially thousands or millions of pages, which may see impacts across the entire site in terms of traffic and hopefully make you some more money.
My local SEO tip for you is about Google My Business questions and answers. In doing some SMX prep research, I noticed that questions and answers seem to be location-based for some specific industries. So if you have questions and answers for, say, a restaurant, there's a good chance if somebody's searching outside of your city might not actually see your questions and answers. So we're not quite sure how to fix this yet or what the situation is, but it's definitely important that you have questions and answers for your local users, and then also making sure that you're putting some of that prominent information in Google My Business posts and other areas on the listing so that anybody outside of your area that may not be able to see your questions and answers can also see that information.
Hey, I'm Patrick Stocks, and my tip is just use Ahrefs.
So thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video and learned lots of awesome stuff. And now, you know it's that time. Put your hand right here on the screen. We totally just high-fived because you learned something awesome. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next week.